Welcome, everybody. Monday morning edition of Celtics Roundtable on CLNS. I'm Evan Valenti alongside the Ignall brothers, Matthew and Jonathan, coming to you morning after the Celtics win Game 4. They tie up the season series with the Bulls, 104-95, as we head back to Boston for Game 5 on Wednesday night. And it was a pretty interesting game in terms of there was a couple of big runs, Celtics got to a big lead, some back and forth, a couple of technicals, and we end up with a Celtics win. In terms of defining the game and how it really went, Matthew, you look at the first quarter, Gerald Green was unbelievable. Second quarter, once again, Gerald Green, unbelievable. Isaiah Thomas carried the Celtics, I'd say probably for the entire third quarter. And then the fourth quarter I thought was owned by Marcus Smart in a couple of Isaiah plays, but Marcus really dominated. And what, in your perspective, from where you're sitting, who had the biggest impact in this game, Gerald in IT or Marcus at the end?
This game was in doubt. I got to go with Isaiah Thomas in the third quarter. He was unbelievable in that third quarter, just the way he was playing. For me, it's no question.
Jonathan, you gonna ride the Marcus Smart train as the biggest Marcus Smart fan of this podcast?
Oh man, he makes it tough today. Marcus Smart was excellent. He really impacted each and every aspect of the game. Huge rebounds, 5 points, all in the fourth quarter, including a big three. Got his hands in the pass.
It wasn't even about the points. The points, it was like an afterthought compared, and because all the other stuff he was doing in the fourth quarter was unbelievable. The offensive rebounds were super clutch, and he had a couple of those touch pass assists that were kind of backbreakers, I thought. Yeah,
I mean, the points were just the icing on top, but just the big blocks. He was everywhere. I mean, the first half he was a little erratic, some questionable flops, and he went a little crazy.
I gotta give some respect to Gerald Green though, because him coming in and setting the tone early and giving them a real big chance to kind of have those lapses and still be okay is a huge reason. I mean, they started out the game really hot. I thought the shots that Gerald got to start the game were pretty much how you want to draw him up. I mean, he was wide open on a lot of shots, and he could get into rhythm pretty quickly. And if he can get into rhythm pretty quickly, he can light it up for a little bit. And he gave them a little bit of a spark, which they've been desperately looking for in games 1 and 2. He came out with the right sense of purpose, the right sense of mentality, had 8 points and 5 rebounds in the first quarter, ended up with 18 and 7 by the end of the night. I mean, he was spectacular. And when you're able to do that from the jump, you kind of make other teams change their game plan a little bit on you, and it makes life sometimes a little bit easier for a guy like Isaiah. Now, of course, when Isaiah starts getting up shots pretty quickly, the attention immediately goes right back to him. But Gerald giving Isaiah a little bit of a breather of no, I'll take some of the bulk of the scoring load to start this game. You know, you rest yourself when you really need you. It was kind of a big thing in this game.
I think he earned his contract. Who would have thought Gerald Green would be starting in the playoff series?
You know, you talk about Gerald Green in the first quarter, Isaiah Thomas in the third, and Marcus Smart in the fourth. Everyone overlooks this guy, but Al Horford played a hell of a game. 15 points, over 50% shooting, a +5, and had 12 boards, and those were big rebounds. I mean, he outplayed Robin Lopez, which was one of our keys to the game. We need to compete on the glass, and Al Horford was the reason why we did.
I thought he was kind of instrumental in the late third, early fourth part of that run there for Boston. I thought he played really well. So he had a lot of one arm, boxing one guy out with one arm and catching the ball with one hand with the other arm. He had a bunch of those tonight on a couple of long threes by Chicago, and I thought that was quite telling. But again, in terms of rebounds, I thought no bigger rebounds were bigger than Marcus's at those on the offensive end, where he was able to get Boston a couple of extra opportunities toward the end of the game. I know he had 4 overall in terms of offensive rebounds, but 3 of them came very, very, very late when Boston was trying to just put the nail in the coffin.
This is why they brought Al Horford in. They brought him in for the playoffs, right? They had guys who could get it done in the regular season, but his versatility they knew would be huge for this team in the playoffs, and he's just living up to his expectations. But I got to go back to Isaiah Thomas here. 33 points, +17, by far tops on the night. Bulls applied a ton of pressure, particularly on him, but basically on all the Celtics. It just seemed like they really amped up the pressure to a 10. I mean, Isaiah Cannon was basically picking up the Celtics full court, and Isaiah struggled from the three-point line, but as the game went on, he just was more and more aggressive about getting into the paint. and the Bulls could do nothing about it. I mean, he was unbelievable with the types of finishes that he was having around the rim, or even that one play where he lost it midair and got it to Kelly Olynyk. That was pretty incredible.
Can we just take a second and appreciate how great it is to see Isaiah Thomas look like himself again? He was smiling out there. He was talking all sorts of shit to Michael Carter-Williams. Isaiah Thomas is back, and when he's playing like this, I mean, he was unguardable in that second half. I think it was 16 in a row at a stretch in the third when they needed him. We talk about the playoffs, and a big thing that obviously playing hard, but when you have the best player on the floor, you're most likely going to win the game, and he was the best player on the floor tonight. In the fourth quarter, Jimmy Butler, who played a ton of minutes, 46 to be exact, was exhausted. I mean, in the fourth quarter, a lot of shots went to Mirotic, Bobby Portis, Isaiah Cannon, where the Celtics shots went to Isaiah Thomas or passed it off for an easy layup. So Isaiah Thomas was the king of the game, king of the fourth, and our hero.
King of the third, too. Yeah, Hoiberg's apparently saying that Isaiah Thomas is impossible to guard when he's carrying the ball like that.
That's like that Snickers commercial where the guy goes up for a big dunk and the white dude on the corner goes, "That was a travel." Like, let's not mention the fact that Jimmy Butler got to the line 23 times in the game.
That was incredible.
More than the Celtics got to the line.
Today's Roundtable podcast is being brought to you by the SeatGeek ticketing app. As the Celtics playoff push heats up, SeatGeek is the smartest and easiest way to get tickets to every game. With SeatGeek's seamless mobile experience, you can buy and sell tickets in just 2 taps. And it doesn't end with just Celtics or just any other NBA game. SeatGeek also has plenty of concert, comedy, and theater tickets available too, and it's all fully guaranteed. We have Game 5 coming up on Wednesday night. Celtics and Bulls deadlocked at 2 apiece. Boston going for the first home win of the series this entire season, or this entire postseason. Listeners to CLNS Radio can support this production and get a $20 rebate off their first SeatGeek purchase. And here's how you do it. Download the free SeatGeek app, go to the settings tab, and click add a promo code. Enter the promo code CELTSNEWS, all one word, and SeatGeek will send you $20 after you made your first ticket purchase. So download the SeatGeek app today and enter the promo code CELTSNEWS.
One of the adjustments that we saw was that the Celtics went small for the majority of the game, often playing, Robin Lopez off the floor. I thought it was a really good adjustment. Sorry, Levy, they did not go big. The way the ball moved, particularly like in that fourth quarter, it was just crisp and the floor was completely spaced. It was interesting what the Bulls did. Early, they decided that they were going to go at Isaiah Thomas every single time, it seemed like. And the Celtics tried not to switch it every time, but most times they failed. Most times it was Isaiah Thomas on a larger player, sometimes Dwayne Wade, more likely Jimmy Butler. It was really successful at a time, but as the game wore on and probably the halfway through the third quarter and later, it stopped becoming as successful. I don't know, did the Bulls going at Isaiah every time early in the game muck up their flow a little bit? I mean, it got them back in the game, but it just seemed like a more late game offense strategy.
And it's hard to run that late game because if the main guy that's doing that's Jimmy Butler, and he's been playing the entire game already. So the only successful form of offense was getting the ball to Jimmy and having him go at Isaiah because, I mean, Jimmy's really all they had.
Yeah, I mean, the Celtics packed the paint when the Bulls did that every time. Yeah, their point guard situation was very strange. They started Jerry Grant. That didn't work out. They played Michael Carter-Williams a bit. That didn't work out. None of those guys were able to either guard Isaiah Thomas nor help the Bulls offensively at all. Jerry Grant was a -10. Michael Carter-Williams was a -11. They found something going with Isaiah Cannon. It's just kind of funny to me, actually, that he's getting 34 minutes, whereas Campaign, the guy they traded rotation players that could actually help them in this series, that he's playing 34 minutes more than Campaign in this crucial game. Even so, Isaiah Cannon couldn't guard Isaiah Thomas at all. Bulls really need Jimmy Butler to guard Isaiah Thomas. He's the only one who could do that. But there's no way that Jimmy Butler can be playing, basically the whole game, carrying the Bulls offensively, and then chasing around Isaiah Thomas. Fred Hoiberg knows that.
Yeah, the Bulls actually switched Jimmy onto Isaiah in the late stages of the game. I think with 3 minutes to go was the first time they tried it in the second half, and Jimmy just couldn't keep up with Isaiah. Isaiah was rolling. He was a little more rested.
It's worked out because of the way the Bulls have defended, putting all this pressure on Isaiah Thomas. Although the Celtics didn't knock down 3-point shots, at least these other guys made plays. Or the floor was so spaced that they were able to get easy looks at the rim. We talked a little bit about the Bulls attacking Isaiah, and they kind of went away from it. I thought it was kind of strange because Isaiah Thomas was in foul trouble.
Haralabob was talking about that. He didn't understand why they weren't attacking a guy with 4 fouls more.
Sure.
Same with Bradley, too. Bradley had a lot of foul trouble.
Sure. And I think, a large part of the reason why Gerald Green got going in that first quarter, in that second quarter as well, is that Wade's defense on him was not great. Let's just put it that way.
He was wide open. He was just wide open all the time.
How about the Bulls losing on TNT? Streak over.
It's on Thursday nights, isn't it? Isn't it Thursday night? It doesn't have to be Thursday.
Well, there are no more Thursday games this series, so.
What? Anybody want to talk about how Jimmy Butler had 9 assists in this game? Jeez.
He did everything for him. He was there. Russell Westbrook.
He's incredible. That is incredible. Now we go back to who would you rather have, Jimmy Butler or Paul George? I don't know, man. Jimmy Butler can really play. It's such a tough decision.
I look at that 46 minutes. That's just too much.
If you have to play one guy 46 minutes and you're still going to lose by 9, I think you got a problem.
It almost reeks of desperation.
Jimmy, all right, during the series is 25, 7, and 5. It's almost a LeBron. What's the LeBron? 27, 7, and 7.
I guess it was efficient offense at least when he was taking the shot or getting to the line. But I mean, the Celtics were showing him bodies. You could hear Brad Stevens yelling for most of the game, instructing guys to take a step towards Butler or something like that, just to dig in a little bit. And I just felt like the Bulls were just too predictable with it, and that the Celtics kind of got comfortable with how they wanted to defend Butler.
Yeah, but I don't blame Hoiberg of the Bulls for going that route. That's their best chance of offense. I mean, if they get unpredictable, you're going to have Joffrey Laverne airballing threes from the corner. Stick to what they know will get them buckets, and that's Jimmy Butler and Dwayne Wade. Well, not even Dwayne Wade, 5 for 12. Sure. That's Jimmy Butler.
It's easy to game plan against, though. That's the only thing. I wonder if the Bulls will respond by putting out more skilled lineups out there.
Do they have more skilled players?
Where does it come from?
I don't know.
They don't even have a point guard.
I mean, are you calling for Anthony Morrow?
I've been calling for Denzel Valentine, who didn't see a minute. It almost feels like the Bulls are reeling a little bit. They're now the ones searching for answers with the Celtics adjustments.
When it comes to evaluating a series, you can't let 2 games blow you out of proportion. And this is the same. Got to say the same way now that Boston started the series 2-2. Both teams clearly have their flaws at this point, and now you have to say, okay, what coach is going to make quicker, better adjustments. The one thing out of Brad that I've seen so far is he's real quick with getting Isaiah back on the floor if he feels the momentum shifting. I know during the regular season he's been trying to coax the non-IT units through these rough stretches, but now it's just nah, screw it. Let's put IT out there and get through this thing, and it's worked out really well for them in games 3 and 4, especially in game 4. He's averaging 37 minutes a game. Whatever.
I mean, I think it would be concerning if we saw Isaiah Thomas was playing 44 minutes.
Oh, that's a problem.
He needs that burst. That's how he goes from just that's how he becomes an extremely ineffective player, by just putting on the Jets. And you can't do that when you're playing that much.
Yeah.
Right?
So if you look at through 4 games, Jimmy Butler averaging 42.3 minutes, has cracked the 40-minute barrier 3 out of 4 games. Only missed it by 1 minute in game 3. Played 39 minutes. Meanwhile, Isaiah, they're doing as you alluded to, Matt, they're doing a much better job of limiting Isaiah's minutes, 37 per game, just a shade under 37 per game, where he's only gone over 40 minutes that one time in game 2. So, again, Brad doing a really good job of managing Isaiah and getting through some of the rougher stretches that Boston can go through, with him sitting on the bench, and Boston doing a good job of prevailing late in these couple of these wins and giving him some much-needed R&R time. Let's get to it for us here on Celtics Roundtable. Make sure you join us Tuesday morning. We'll be taking a look at more in terms of looking at Game 5, probably breaking down what we think will factor into that game. Of course, make sure you give us a follow on social media at CLNS Roundtable. And make sure you download SeatGeek, the free SeatGeek app. If you're going to the game on Wednesday, make sure you use the promo code CELTSNEWS, all one word, to buy your tickets. So for Matthew Ignall, Jonathan Ignall, I'm Evan Valenti. We'll see you Tuesday morning.
What a great game.
That third quarter, things got really intense.
Oh, man. I'm a mess when it doesn't go well. I'm yelling at Kelly to stop weak fouling people. Marcus stopped
Isaiah
flopping
Thomas,
off.
like I saw him come in, like Brad Stevens pulled him early and then put him back in, pretty quickly, and he talked to Jay real quick. He gave a little thing to the team, and he was just like, "Get on my back," and the team followed suit.
That's awesome. That's my guy.